Hello, welcome to More Yoga with me, Emily. Thank you so much for joining me today. I thought we'd get a little bit into the chest and shoulders, get a little bit of opening, maybe even through the neck, and also into the quads today. There's been a few requests for that. And a fantastic pose for both of those things happens to be dancer's pose. But we're not so much going to train that or work toward that as a peak pose, but we will use it as one of our stretches for those two body parts. So if you have a strap, it's a really useful tool today, even a belt or a piece of rope, just something that you can hold on to. It doesn't have to be super long, right? It doesn't have to be as long as this strap. Ideally, you want it kind of outer shoulder width in length, and it doesn't have to be any longer than that. So grab a strap if you have one, and then lie down onto your back. And you can draw your knees into your chest, maybe to start with, and take a little rock from side to side. Maybe you need to get some wiggles out or shakes, whatever you need, until you find a place to rest for a few breaths or a few moments just to settle. Your knees could be bent, maybe feet mat width apart so the knees hang in toward each other, and that helps keep some tension out of the low back. You could have the legs outstretched. Arms might be by your side, or you could have them cactus. I would love it if you wrap your shoulder blades onto your back so there's a little bit of lift through the chest, wherever you end up being. And for 3 breaths, inhale deeply through your nose. And exhale, sigh your breath away. A couple more, just like that. And continue breathing however you need to, whether it's in and out through your nose or your mouth. And something that I don't usually ask people to do is to breathe into their upper chest a little bit more. So imagine with every inhale that you're puffing up that upper chest, getting as much space as you can into those ribs, and then exhale, let it go. So a couple more breaths like that. Last one. And then return to your natural breath when you're ready, slow and sweet. Last couple breaths here. And then start to bring a little bit of movement, a little bit of wiggle of the fingertips or toes back to the body. Maybe you take that long overhead morning stretch. And then roll over to one side. It doesn't matter which side you roll over to start with. I happen to be on my right side, but it doesn't really matter. You can prop your head up on your hand if you wish, or you might just cradle your head on your arm. But we're going to work into this top leg. So keep the bottom leg bent, and then kick your heel to the bum. So top heel comes into the bum. And then you don't want the knee lifting up too much. So try to keep the knee in line with the hip. Squeeze that bum so the hips press forward. And then hug the heel a little bit more in toward the bum. Little draw of belly button to spine. So hopefully now you're feeling a little bit of release of the tension through the quadriceps, the top of the thigh. And when you think about it, this is kind of like a dancer's pose. You just happen to be lying down on your side. So squeeze the bum, send the kneecap in the opposite direction of your head and press the hips forward. You can even grab the inside of your foot, and that helps open a little bit more through that top shoulder if you wish. Last couple breaths here. And then gently release, shake it out a little bit. If you have your strap handy, since we're here, we might as well use it. And bend the top knee and bring the foot to your thigh. Now you might extend that bottom leg because this will give you a little bit more stability, a little bit more strength. The ankle flexed, so really, really strong here. And then you might extend the top leg up to the sky. For some of you, this is going to be a great place to bring the strap to the balls of that foot, and then you might use the top hand to grab onto the foot. For some of you, right, it might be here, it might be here, it doesn't matter. The knee can be bent. The leg does not need to be straight. Some of you, maybe you take your peace fingers to the big toe and make sure that there's no scrunching of the shoulder. Drop the shoulder blade down. Last couple breaths here, and I was about to say reclined Buddha, but I don't know. Something like that. One more inhale. Exhale, release. Shake it out. Just roll to your opposite side if you wish, or I'm going to come this way so that you can see what I'm doing. And then we'll set up for the second side. So bottom knee bent. If that feels better for you, maybe you prop your head on your elbow, or maybe you rest it down on the upper arm, whatever feels good for you here. And then once you are comfortable, kick the top heel to the bum, and then naturally to grab it, the leg lifts, but then bring your thigh back in line with the hip socket, squeeze the bum on that top leg, press the hips forward, open through the chest, and then start to draw that lifted heel in as close to the bum as you can get it. Keep squeezing the bum, keep pressing the hips forward, feeling that, hopefully, beautiful release through the quadriceps on that top leg. Again, maybe you grab the inside of the foot. For me, it feels a little bit awkward today, so I'm not going to. Last couple breaths here. And then gently release, shake it out a little bit, and then extend the bottom leg. Flex the ankle, flare the toes, and then start to bend and externally rotate at the hip with that top leg. Couple breaths here. Find your balance. And then maybe you reach the leg up to the sky. I am cramping, so I'm just going to shake it out. Whew. There we go. Again, that knee does not need to be straight. It can be bent. It could be further away. You might be further up toward you. If you have the strap, you can loop it over the balls of the foot. Some of you, maybe if you don't have a strap, are just supporting the leg with your hand. Maybe you take your peace fingers to your toes, if that works for you. If not, don't worry about it. And then make sure that the heel isn't pointing back. You want it to point it in the same direction as your other foot. Last couple breaths here. Lots of space between the ears and the shoulders. And then slowly, gently release, shake it out a little bit, and then come on up to hands and knees. Little wiggle, little shake once you get there. And let's move through a bit of cat and cow. So knees underneath hips. Toes can be tucked or untucked. Hands outer shoulder width apart or wider. And then inhale, lift the tailbone. Hollow through the lower back. Broaden through the collarbones. Exhale, round through your spine. Tuck the tailbone under. And then inhale into cow. Exhale, round into cat. Last couple breaths here. Moving however you need to. Maybe it's a wiggle from side to side, or some barrel rolls through your chest. Okay, and then gently step to the top edge of your mat, coming into standing forward fold. And make sure that you send your sit bones back so that you can fold the hips rather than just in the spine. Micro bend or even deep bend in the knees. Let the head hang heavy, neck long. And maybe you clasp opposite elbows with hands to get a little bit more traction along the spine. Some of you might rest your elbows on your knees, wherever you need to go. A few more breaths here. Sometimes I like bouncing here. And then gently release your hands if they are bound. And then with fingertips to your shins or the floor, inhale, lift up partway. Exhale, let it all go. Couple more, just like that. And then bend your knees, tuck your tailbone into your earth, belly button to spine. Slowly start to roll up to standing. Head heavy, arms heavy the entire time. Until eventually you come all the way up. A couple loops of the shoulders, up, back, and down. Wiggle or noodle, whatever you need to do to release. And then grab your strap if you have it. Take your feet hip width apart. A little draw of belly button to spine. And then we're going to sit into chair pose. So hips down and back. Make sure the knees aren't caving in. Send them out toward the baby toe edges of the feet. Tailbone down just so you feel the belly button engaged toward the spine. And then bring your arms forward in front of you at shoulder height. And then tension on the strap. You can go palms facing down, or you might go palms facing toward each other. And then the strap could either be coming up through the fists or down, whatever you need, but make sure you're not reaching forward, right? You don't want this, so wrap the shoulder blades onto the back, drawing the hands apart. Last couple of breaths here. And then inhale overhead. Exhale down. If that feels gnarly on your blood pressure or on the neck, then take the hands a little bit wider or stop doing it. Last breath here. And then stand all the way up. Shake it out a little bit. Release. Okay, take the hands shoulder width apart, so possibly a little bit wider from where you were before. Hug the legs toward each other, belly button to spine. Inhale, reach the arms up to the sky. And then exhale, send the hips to the right. Reach the upper body over to the left. Pull down with that bottom arm. Resist with the top arm. And then inhale back through center, shake it out. And then inhale up, lengthen through the spine. Exhale over to the left. I guess it's arms to the right, hips to the left. Again, pull down with that bottom arm, but resist with the top arm. Getting into the armpit on that left side. And then inhale back up to center. Shake it out. Whew. Let it go. Bring the strap behind you now. And you want your hands more or less hip width, probably not too narrow and not too wide. Little draw as belly button to spine. Then again, nice tall posture. Little micro bend in the knees. And then wrap your shoulder blades toward each other and start to pull the strap away from your body, not too far. And then I want you to bend your knees and start to lift that left shoulder up as the right shoulder dips down a little bit. And then come back to center. And then lift the right shoulder. Left shoulder dips down again. Keep pulling the strap away from the lower body. And then gently come back to center. Flip your palms so they're facing forward. And then we're going to do the same thing. So find that tall posture. Wrap the shoulders, the elbows toward each other. Lift the strap away from your lower back. Lift the left shoulder. Drop the right. Keep breathing. I just noticed I was holding my breath. Inhale back to center, and then opposite way. Right shoulder lifts, left shoulder drops down. Inhale back up and release. Shake it out a little bit. Whew. Let's stitch the strap off to the side. And then come to the top edge of your mat. Little draw of belly button to spine. Send all your weight to your right leg and pick up the left knee. And we're just going to get a few bounces here. Nothing too crazy. Just warming up the stabilizers on that right leg. And then kick the heel to your bum. Lean forward a little bit. Keep the pulses going. And then slowly come forward. Inhale here. As you exhale, reach the left leg back. Left arm comes forward. Bend that supporting leg. Inhale back up. And exhale, reach. Couple of these. Again, you might be feeling your glutes, your bum on that right side firing up. Again, and then come all the way back up. Keep that left knee here. Inhale here. Exhale out to the side. And back. And out. And back. Last one. Pause here. Okay, notice what your hips are doing, that you're not hiking it up. And then, same thing that we were doing on the floor, bring the sole of the foot to the supporting leg. Maybe it's the upper inner thigh. Maybe it's the calf below the knee. Maybe toes to the floor, ankle to the, sole of the foot to the ankle. Or you could have toes on the top of the foot. Whatever works best for you today. Press your foot into your leg, leg into your foot. Squeeze the bum, belly button to spine. And then maybe you grow your branches up to the sky. And if you're feeling a little bit wobbly, roll with it. Or maybe you're not feeling wobbly and you enforce some movement here. Last option, one hand comes to the top of the thigh, lift taller with the right side. Exhale, a little side bend over to the left. You can look wherever. Ooh, feels good on your neck. And then inhale, come back up to center. Pick that left knee up. You might stay here. You might grab the back of the thigh. Maybe you take your peace fingers to that foot and slowly extend the leg out to the side. My knee is quite bent. Last couple breaths here. And slowly release, shake it out a little bit. Whew. That's the right side fired up. Let's go to the opposite side. Send all the weight to the left leg. Little buoyancy on that knee. Pick up the right knee. And then get those pulses going. Kick your heel to your bum. Lean forward. Continue the pulses. And then slowly bring that knee forward. Slow the pulses down. Bring the left arm forward. Inhale here. Exhale, right leg reaches back. Right arm comes forward. Inhale, back up. And exhale, bend the supporting knee. Right leg reaches back. A couple more. Inhale, all the way up. Pause in the center. Exhale, open. Inhale, back to center. And open. Last time. And pause as you open. Again, you might bring the foot to the upper inner thigh, to the calf below the knee. Maybe toes to come to the floor. All right, I'm cramping again. Maybe toes to the foot on top of it, wherever you need to go. Press your foot into your leg into your foot. Squeeze the bum, belly button to spine. And then start to grow your branches up to the sky. I should say you don't want to press your foot right against your knee, right? Hinge joints don't want to be pressed sideways. Maybe you release your right hands to the top of the thigh. Inhale here. Exhale, a little side bend over to the right. And then back to center. Pick up that right knee. Maybe you grab the thigh. Maybe you take your peace fingers to that foot or toe. And then open the leg out. Again, without hiking up that hip. And then when you're done, you're done. Shake it out a little bit. Little wobble. Little release. Cool. Come to the top edge of your mat. Inhale, lift up to the sky. Exhale, melt forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, let it go. On your inhale, step your right leg back and release your back knee to the floor for a chip foam block or some padding. If you have it, if you don't, you might want to double up your mat, fold it underneath that knee so that you will have a little bit of extra cushioning for where we're going. And then come up to half kneeling. You're welcome to stay here in this really active variation of the lunge, squeezing the bum, belly button to spine. Some of you might choose to take a little bit deeper today, because I don't often give you that option, or at least I don't teach it. But sometimes it feels good to go a little bit deeper, so long as you're still maintaining that squeeze of the bum and the hug of the legs toward each other. Last couple of breaths here. And then gently bring your right hand to the floor or a block. And then the higher your hand is away from the floor, the more accessible this next thing might be. I'm not saying that it will be totally accessible for everyone, but start to press into that side, a twist. Wrap that bottom shoulder onto your back, and then inhale the left arm up. As you exhale, reach it back behind you, bend the back knee. Maybe you can grab the foot. And if not, that strap can be really good here to loop it around the top of the foot. Right, something like, you can probably, there we go. Something like this. And then squeeze the bum, shift the hips forward, keep the heel hugged in quite tight to the bum today. Make sure you're not right up on your kneecap though, especially if you're not on padding, right? You want to protect that bone and the joint behind it. Last breath here. Good, gently release, come back to center. And then step to the top edge of your mat, standing forward fold. Little wiggle, little shake. Inhale, lift up partway. Exhale, fold. On your inhale, step your left leg back. Release your back knee to the floor, or a chip foam block, or your padding, or double up the mat. Little drop, belly button to spine. Again, you're welcome to stay here, quite upright. If you would like to shift a little bit further forward today, you're welcome to, but really squeeze the bum on that left side. Ground through the front heel. And then maybe you inhale the arms up overhead. Last couple breaths in this lunge, wherever you need to be. And then gently release your left hand to the floor or your block or your book or your board game, or whatever you're using here. And then bring that bottom shoulder onto your back, hip shift forward. Inhale the right arm up to the sky. Exhale, reach along behind you, bend the back knee for the grab of the back foot. And again, if you happen to have a block or something that's a little bit higher, that reach, that grab becomes a lot easier, a lot more accessible, because you're not as far away from the foot. Right? If you're down here on the floor, that top arm has quite a bit further to go. Squeeze the bum, hug the heel in toward the bum. Last couple breaths here. Maybe you're using the strap on your foot. And then gently, slowly release. Come on back to center. Step forward, standing forward fold. Little wiggle, little sway. Fingertips to shins. Inhale, lift up partway. Exhale, let it go. Inhale, sweep all the way up to the sky. And exhale, hands to prayer. Release, shake it out a little bit. Okay, let's work towards dancer pose on one side and then the other, and just see how it goes. Not a big deal. Okay. Send all the weight to the right foot, little bend in the knee, belly button to spine. Start to pick up that left leg. Kick the left heel toward your bum. You might grab the foot from the outside edge, or you might flip your palm up and grab the foot from the inside edge. And that really helps open that shoulder joint. Hug the legs toward each other, belly button to spine, little buoyancy on that supporting knee. Counterbalance with the right arm. Now squeeze the bum and hug that heel into your foot as much as you can. If you're getting a lot of sensation through your quads, then stay here. Otherwise, maybe you start to bend that knee a little bit more. Maybe you tip forward. Maybe you start to kick the foot up and back behind you, wherever you need to go. Last couple breaths. Really strong focus. And if you fall out, it's fine. And then inhale back up. Really shake it out a little bit. Last side. Weight over to the left foot. Belly bend to spine. Pick up the right foot. Kick the heel to the bum. And again, make sure that it's not winging out to the side, that the kneecap is pointing down. Maybe you grab the outside edge. Maybe you grab the inside edge. Squeeze the bum. Press the hips forward. If you're getting a lot of sensation through the quads, stay here. Maybe you counterbalance with that left hand. Really bend that supporting knee. You can tip forward. Maybe you start to kick the foot behind you to open the hips up. Right, wherever you need to go. Last few breaths. And then when you're done, you're done. Release. Shake it out a little bit. Inhale up to the sky. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, little partway lift. Exhale, let it go. Bend your knees. Plant your hands. Come down to hands and knees. Little wiggle. Little shake. Maybe a little cat and cow. And then send your hips back. Shift onto the bum. Swing your legs forward. And shake it out a little bit. Awesome. Hope you're all feeling okay after all of that. Let's get a little bit more of a release. And it sounds weird, but dancer's pose is quite a nice release. After something like, butterfly is a really nice release after something like dancer's pose. So if you have something, a pillow that you can sit up on, it helps tilt your pelvis forward so that it becomes quite a bit easier to be here in butterfly pose, soles of the feet together, knees wide, right? Especially if you feel like your spine is rounding and it's hard to stay upright, then this is your best friend, right? And then you have maybe something that you can bring under your knees for a little bit of support. Try not to hold on to the toes, maybe hold on to the ankles. Inhale, lift, and then exhale, come forward on a long line to start with. You might stay here. You don't have to fold super far forward, particularly if you would like an active variation, in which case think of pressing the feet together and squeezing the bum to press the knees down. Ooh, that feels good. Or maybe you feel like a passive variation if it's okay on the low back. Maybe you start to round forward. You can always prop underneath your forehead wherever you need to go. The idea about not pulling up on your toes is it creates a sickle in the joint, right? Or a looseness in those tendons that is not going to benefit you. Sometimes I like threading my fingers between my toes and then opening the feet up like a book almost. One more inhale. One sweet exhale. And then inhale slowly. Roll back up. You can use your hands to draw your thighs toward each other. Shake them out a little bit. Little windshield wiper of the legs. One last thing before we come down to the floor. And I've done this with you before a few times, but it's a really great opening for the chest. Bring your hands behind you, fingertips pointing back. Bend your knees, soles of the feet flat, and then wrap your shoulder blades toward each other. If you would like a little bit more, and I'm going to say most of you will, pick up the hips, shift them forward and down. So it's not reverse tabletop, it's a chest opening. Some people I've seen do a figure 4 here as well. We won't be here for super long, but if you would like to do that, then just pause the video and do a figure 4 on each side. Keep pressing through the fingertips to lift your heart up. And then gently bend your elbows, shake them out, and then roll down onto your back. Hug your knees into your chest, a little rock from side to side. And then shift your hips to the right a little bit. Right arm goes out to the side as you exhale. Lower your knees to the left. So a gentle twist, as deep or as gentle in fact as you need. So the hips might be stacked. You could bring a block underneath that bottom knee or between them. You could cross your legs or take a single leg twist. Sometimes it feels nice to add the weight of that left hand on the top thigh. One more inhale. And exhale, let it all go. And slowly come back to center. Reset your spine and your pelvis. Maybe the hips shift to the left as you lower your knees to the right. Left arm reaches out to the side. Again, as gentle or as deep as you need, and it can feel so different from one side to the other. So go where you need to go. One more inhale. One sweet exhale. And then inhale slowly, come back to center. Reset your spine. If there's anything else you feel like you need before your rest, maybe a happy baby. I know some of you like taking an inversion or a spinal flexion here and go where you need to go. And once you're ready for your rest, think about where you would like to end, whether it's flat on your back, legs bent or straight. You might rest on your side in a seated meditation. You could rest in child's pose, wherever feels good for you today. And then for 3 breaths, inhale deeply through your nose. Exhale, sigh your breath away. Couple more. With each exhale, let your body melt a little bit deeper into the earth. Let go of all breath control, all muscle tension or gripping. Allow the weight of your body to surrender to the earth. Thank you so much for joining me today. Namaste.